D-Lo 404 Boxing. Alright, y'all. I'm in this truck again. But I couldn't wait to get home to drop this video. I just got done listening to Main Man's video on the topic. I ain't been thinking about making a video anyway, but I've been at work all day. But shout out to Main Man. Y'all hadn't subbed to him. Go over there and check him out and subscribe. Great channel. Great boxing mind over there. So I was watching the warm-up, the video, I think it was on Fight Hype or whatever channel it was, where they were interviewing Errol Spence Jr. and he was warming up, and basically, I mean, man, Errol Spence Jr. was looking good, talking good, you know what I'm saying, saying the things I want to hear from my champions. That's the thing I want to hear from any champion. But all champions don't behave like champions. So, when the interviewer asked Errol Spence Jr., how did he, feel about the fight? How good did he feel? And, how did he feel about, going into that fight with Danny Garcia? And, he talked about the kind of shape he was in. And, he just said, this is probably, one of the best, some of the best, I don't know how to phrase it right, but basically he's feeling as good as he's ever felt. If not the best he's ever felt going into a fight. He said come December 5th, he's gonna put some highlight reel footage out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm paraphrasing. But he feels good and confident going into the fight. And Main Man posed the question. He said, with Errol coming off the wreck, is people, our fans, going to be satisfied with him just getting a win? Are they going to expect and demand and be disappointed if there's not a dominating victory or a stoppage? Or are people gonna just be, give Errol credit for just beating Danny Garcia? And I'm not gonna, go into everything he said, because you can go over there and watch that man's video, but one thing I will say is, my response to that is that for me, Errol Spence Jr. gets full credit for beating Danny Garcia. And despite what I say about Danny Garcia not accomplishing a whole lot at 147, he was a champion. He beat Robert Guerrero and took the belt, or won the belt. However, I can't remember if it was vacant or he took it from Guerrero, but he won the belt. Danny Garcia, had some, he's had some tough fights that he lost, versus Porter, versus Thurman. But at the end of the day, no one has ever had an easy night with Danny Swift Garcia. Now there's some fights that, were questionable about whether they should have went to the other guy in Lamont Peterson and Herrera. But at the end of the day, those guys, they were in tough with Danny. And I'm not going to delve too deep into those fights. But my whole point is, Danny Garcia is a fighter. You know what I'm saying? And he's a fight fans fighter. Danny comes to fight. He lays it all out on the line. He gives it his all. And, you know what I'm saying? Guys who fight Danny know they will win a fight with Danny. And, you know what I'm saying? The fans, it's always a two-way street with Danny Garcia. It's always a two-way street. So, for Errol Spence Jr., and I'm not even talking about the wreck. I've already gave Errol credit for taking the fight coming off that wreck. But the fact that it's Danny Garcia, and we've never seen anyone dominate Danny Garcia, Errol Spence Jr. getting a win over Danny Garcia is praiseworthy enough for me. And I'm going to say one last thing. We must remember, Danny Garcia was on that list of guys who didn't want any smoke with Errol Spence Jr. He was on that list with Thurman. He was on that list with Porter. And, man, you throw Manny Pacquiao in there as well. And these guys emerged wanting Errol Spence Jr. fight after Errol fought Mikey Garcia, and they saw that big turnout at that stadium. They saw that they saw those big pay-per-view numbers, and that's when all of a sudden they were interested in that fight. So for me, I always go back to a guy's first reaction. When first presented with fighting Danny Garcia, with fighting Errol Spence Jr., Danny Garcia wasn't interested. And that's what I have to rest my hat on and say, okay, there's a reason Danny didn't want this fight. He didn't feel confident enough about that fight. So that in and of itself tells me that he still probably has some of those same doubts. But coupled with the pay-per-view, coupled with Errol coming off the accident, the time is right for Danny. Now, don't get me wrong, Danny was trying to make the fight before the accident. But I do think the accident probably gave him a little more confidence. And the pay-per-view sure made it worth his while. But that said, I mean, I'm riding with Errol Spence Jr. all the way in this fight. I don't know if he's going to put on a clinic or put on a highlight reel worthy performance. But I'm sure, for my money, I got Errol Spence Jr. winning this fight. I just can't say how right now. D-Lo 404 Boxing, I'm out.